All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the second season of the Miami Dolphins post-game show. I'm your host, Bobby Finstock. That's Evan Posner of the Bandwagon. That's Steve Malloy of Real Talk Finstock. We welcome you to the Finstock Sports Network post-game show. Plenty to talk about. Second show for me today. We was very hyped after the first Finstock today. Earlier today, and now I'm a little back down to earth after tonight's game. The Miami Dolphins fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars 18-31. Not much, I say, hey, it's preseason. I worry about individual performances. There wasn't much individual performances to be happy about. But before we get into all of that, let me start with Steve, since he has a smile on his face, and then I'll get to Evan because I know he's going to drag it. But before Steve, first off, sir, before we get into the Dolphins, how are you, sir?
Yes. I'm doing great. Just doing really good. Thank you.
Awesome. Evan, I know you're going to get to the Dolphins, but how you doing?
I'm happy. I'm not happy with the way the game ended because David Davis, prayers for you, but I'm happy the game ended early. I'll put it to that way.
Yes, prayers up to David Davis, rookie wide receiver, hurt, bad play. It wasn't a good tackle. I didn't like the tackle, but he was out, and they ended up having to.
That was a dirty shot.
It was a dirty shot. It's preseason, dude. Come on, it's the final preseason game. There is no reason to do that type of play. But we have some positive news in that. And Evan, you want to let us know what's going on with David Davis?
He was taken to Baptist Health Complex in Jacksonville, and he has all movement in his extremities, so that's good news. On top of that, Sabon Ahmed passed all neurological tests, so he is going to be reevaluated tomorrow, and same for Elijah Campbell. So all positive right now in terms of the health so far of those three players that got injured in preseason.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so there you go. So I didn't realize. I just told you guys what was going on in my house during this game with my dog. So what happened with Ahmed? Fill me in.
Ahmed got tackled and also didn't fall correctly, and he got banged up a little bit. He was very slow to get up, and they took him into the blue tent, and then they took him away.
Okay,
and then on a special teams play, Elijah Campbell just got hit on a regular special teams play. No one really saw what happened there exactly.
All right. And just to say, Rob's going to fill us in. Rob's right now following up with Mike McDaniel, who is having the press conference right now, probably updating everybody on the David Davis situation, but also on this game. And I will start again. Dolphins lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the final preseason game. They fall to 1-3 on the preseason before they're going to take, I believe it's like a 15-day break before game one against the Chargers.
1-2.
What did I say?
1 games.
Sorry,
there was only 3 games.
Whatever, Anyway, 1-2.
I'm always here to correct you.
Yeah, I know you are. 1-2 on the preseason. There's no more 4 games. But Evan, all right. So Dolphins fall 18-31 to the Jaguars. What happened?
Okay. I was actually sitting there watching the game, and on the second snap of that game, I was sitting there going to somebody, I have a bad feeling on this play. I have a bad feeling. And all of a sudden, I had flashbacks to Peyton Manning chasing a football in the Super Bowl, and Connor Williams sailed the ball. I think it hit the sun, then landed, because it went about 25 feet in the air. Then Tua, which he needs to work on, didn't fall on the ball properly. And luckily, what's his name? I think Isaiah Wynn covered it up for us. That right there was the starting point and the turning point that's encapsulated how this game ended up going for the Miami Dolphins. It was messy. It was disorganized. No one was ready to play the game tonight. There was one player towards the end of the game who was ready to play, and we'll talk about him after because I think he's earned himself a roster spot tonight. He solidified his roster spot tonight. But besides that, it was an utter mess. And let's just be very, very clear. Snapping a football on a play where you lose 25 yards, if that happens once a game in a regular season game, the Dolphins will go 0-17. You cannot do that. And after a year and a half of being in this position, we got him originally as a guard. You put him as a center. Dan Feeney at center today didn't have one issue at snap. He did not miss snap the entire preseason, But Connor Williams, who's been a center for a year and a half for the Dolphins, OTAs, training camps, want to be put on held out during mini camp because he felt he deserved more than $7 million. He has proven right now that he is going to get cut. He's not going to get a new contract, or he's going to make less money than he is this year because he has shown he's not a capable center. And if I were the Miami Dolphins over the next 2 weeks, if you don't believe in Dan Feeney, go look at who's available as a starting center who might get cut, sign him and move him to left guard. If you don't believe in Isaiah Wynn, I don't care, because right now Connor Williams at center is literally as uncomfortable as me putting a third string quarterback in. He is inconsistent and unreliable as a center. And I don't care what his blocking stats are, he is going to cost us a football game. That was not a normal snap. That was a snap that if this guy was a rookie or a second-year guy, he'd be cut after that. They bring in kickers on a regular basis if they mix 4 or 5 field goals. The guy has the case of the yips, and he's not getting rid of it, and he's not going to fix it in 2 weeks. So either you stop using shotgun plays or you get a new center, because I do not trust Connor Williams. He is my number one problem on this team.
It seems like it happens every time it's a shotgun play. That was, and then as soon as they went back under center, everything was fine. As soon as it happened, I cursed Evan. I said, damn it, Evan, because now I'm always alert to it now. And there it was. And you know what? It is hard to defend. You can't defend it. It's tough. Yes, it's 1 year as a center. I think it's a coaching thing. You think chemistry, but there's a problem there. There's a misstep that hasn't been fixed, and you need to fix it before the regular season. I don't know how they're going to do it, what they're going to do. Do you mix everything up? Is there a veteran center who could possibly be cut before the start of the regular season that Miami go, okay, we're going to go ahead and sign him. We'll go ahead and move this guy to left guard and do that. I mean, it's wishful thinking, but can there something like that be done? Maybe it happened with Chad Pennington, quarterback, but still, But anyway, I'm with you. I can't defend it. It's stupid. Every week something goes down like that. Happened last season. It's happening again. It wasn't one play. It was a shotgun play, which it usually is. But it sucks. I mean, what do you want Tua to do? Be 6'10", and hopefully he could catch it above his head. Steve, your initial reaction to that, and of course the game.
Well, of course, I didn't like it one iota. We've talked about this for a year and a half. He's very consistent, as Evan, mentioned. That's set the center position. He's an excellent blocker. He was a top 5 center. He just has these snapping issues, and I don't know if it's because he skipped out of minicamp or OTAs, but there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. And there's one more thing though, guys. You guys are worried more about this offensive line than Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. What's the matter with you guys?
I'm out. Oh, hey, you caught Finn's talk today. Don't get me started. I had to preach to the choir, brother. I'm with you. I ain't worried about it because you know what? If my general manager's not worried about it, then why the hell am I? Why am I? Everyone's got to strip the offensive line. Our general manager doesn't give a damn about the offensive line. He's good with what it is. Go ahead, Steve. Continue.
No. I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm going to continue to play that video on Real Talk, Finn's Talk.
Yes, sir.
Every Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I assure you it will be up until this offensive line is fixed. But anyway, as you can see, the offensive line is still concerning. Isaiah Wynn, is he really an upgrade to Eichenberg? I don't know. Our depth at the O-line position it's not very good. Lamb is okay. Lamb, I would say Lamb and Wynn could probably be a good depth player, backups. They're not starters. But all the rest of this O-line, they were getting manhandled by the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line. Manhandled. Both sides of the line were getting manhandled. Defense and offense. Now, grant you, Christian Wilkins wasn't playing. Zach Sealer wasn't playing. But now you're seeing what you're going to have to deal with if we're missing one of these guys in the regular season. Now, I know it's a preseason game. I don't care about the score. I don't care that they lost. I'm looking at the individual player performances. And this offense has still got problems.
That's true. And I've been saying that for the past 2 weeks, in regards of week 1 preseason, they didn't play well. They lost, but I was like, hey, individual performance wise, there were things to be positive about, to look towards and go, hey man, I've seen a lot of promise in this young man or in this person or this guy. Game 2, they won 28-3. There was a lot of great performances all the way around. There was a lot to be happy about. Game 2, game 3 now, they fall flat. You're right. The win and loss column does not matter, but there was not much individual performances to be happy about. Offensive line, defensive line were struggling. Defensive line without Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer did not look good. They couldn't stop the Jaguars. The starting offense for the Jaguars did really well, minus that fumble in the end zone, which was Jerome Baker. Flowers to Baker for making a big play. Holland with the recovery. The one player that stood out to me, there was a few, but one player for sure that I came out with a positive outlook on this game is the same one I've had the past 2 weeks, which is Chris Brooks, the running back. He continues to make a case as to why he should make this roster. And if Miami by Tuesday does not make the trade for Jonathan Taylor, you need to find a way to keep this young man on your roster, because he adds that power to this offense that you have in the speed in those other guys. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he keeps moving and moving. He shows a commitment to improve each week and to make big plays when he needs to do it, catching the ball and running the ball. What do you guys think? Steve, I'm going to start with you, then Evan, because I'm going to flip it now. Chris Brooks, my man, what do you think? Were you impressed with him tonight? And how have you been feeling about him in this preseason? And should he make the roster?
Yeah, I as a fan, I'm impressed with him. I like his running style. He's a power runner. He's a downhill runner. One move and he's straight ahead, and he keeps moving his legs. He's got good he's got good burst going through those holes too for a big guy, 235 pounds. That hole opens up for him. He's right through it, So I like that. I to be quite frank with you, I haven't watched any of his blocking skills, but running for sure and passing as well. Look, I would love to see him make the 53-man roster, but I just don't think he is. I think he's going to be a practice squad player, and maybe we develop him, one of our running backs, because there's a good possibility one of our running backs does get hurt. Maybe we bring him up off from the practice squad. But yeah, as a fan, I would like to see him make the 53, but as an organization and as a business and being Chris Greer, I don't think he's going to make the 53. I think he's going to be on the practice squad for sure.
Okay. And let me just make sure here, because Rob's in the house of DolphinsThirsty.com. You can catch him tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Dolphins Thirsty YouTube channel with Steve in the morning, talking this game, talking Dolphins. But he says, Bobby, with the 180 from our group chat, what's the 180? What did I flip? Did I flip on something? I don't think I did.
He's been trolling all day for the last 24 hours. I don't know what he put in his Cheerios, but he's been trolling us all. I don't know what he's doing, but he's too nice of a guy. I can pull this off. He can't pull it off. He's not an a-hole like me.
I don't know what is he talking about. I don't know.
No idea.
What's the 180. I think being pretty consistent with what I say. But
well,
anyway,
maybe Rob should just pop on and confirm.
Maybe
he does it behind the camera. He can't face us. I'm telling you.
Oh, don't
on, Rob.
Hey, Evan, your thoughts on? You said it was just preseason game in chat, and I say that now. It is just preseason. What did I change that?
Nope.
I don't think I did, right? I said it's preseason. Okay, it's individual performances. Okay, just saying. All right, Evan, you're an angel. You're not an a-hole. Okay, that I don't think that's true, but okay.
I'm more a-hole than angel. I
yeah, there's concerns, honestly, but it's still preseason. You don't have concerns, Rob?
I have.
How can you not have concerns? It is just preseason, but you come in with concerns.
I have serious concerns.
Anyway. We'll hold off on the chat for a second. Evan, talk to me about Chris Brooks.
And then we'll talk on concerns. Honestly, Chris Brooks to me, whether Jonathan Taylor is here or not, is my RB3. I honestly, Mostert is going to get injured within 2 games. Jeff Wilson, he is a disappearing act. I have no faith in him because I don't know where he's been all preseason. And if he's, I don't want an injured guy coming in. A-Chain will be my RB4. Ahmed, the thing about Ahmed is a little deceiving. Is he gets one big run a game and that overstates his running. But during he's not a 3-down back. He's going to be used complementary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fight between him and Gaskin. To me, if you put Chris Brooks on the practice squad, he gets picked up within a day. He is the kind of guy. Right now, if you don't get Taylor, you need him to get your 31, 32. The guy's legs keep moving. The other ones just fall. So for me, Chris Brooks to me is ahead of Ahmed and ahead of Gaskin, in my opinion.
Yeah, you make a good point. That is true. Jeff Wilson has been MIA, and I know he hurt a hand at one point in training camp, and then he just kind of dropped off the map. I haven't heard much about him. I mean, he hasn't played. I haven't seen him play.
I don't know what's going on with Wilson. I don't know if anybody has anything that could, because I've tried to look it up. You said it was a positive spin, that it was just preseason when I had concerns. And that's right. You said, hey, what is a positive spin I could put on this article that you're going to write for Dolphins Thursday? And I said, well, you could say it's just preseason. That's what I said. You want to hold that to gospel? You could. But yes, I still come away with the game with concerns. It's still just preseason because, like I said, a team could go 0-3 now and win the Super Bowl. It's happened before with preseason. Yeah. A team could go 3-0 like the Jaguars and then go 0-16 in the 0-17 in the regular season. You could say it's just preseason, but there are things that you look at and go, I have concerns, like Connor Williams oversnapping the damn quarterback every time he gets. That's a concern. It is just preseason, but that's a concern. Come on now, Robbie boy. All right, talking about concerns. Lord help us all. Evan Posner, you're the driver of the Fins overreaction wagon.
Bandwagon, yeah.
Go for it. What are the concerns you saw in this
game?
Let
me start off very quickly.
Okay.
The next person to ever tell me, and I'll start from offense to defense. I'll go top to bottom. Rob. The moment that someone says to me on Twitter, I don't care where, Facebook, our chat, that Skylar Thompson is QB2 of any roster, I'm going to lose my shit. On 2 consecutive plays, wide open receivers, he completely missed the boat and was completely inaccurate and literally threw it to the wrong team. Literally throwing the ball 5 feet over someone's head for 1 interception. And by the way, the Ahmed play was a quick throw to him. From Skylar, who wanted a gimme play, and it was a rough tackle. But that was on Skylar putting it in the wrong place. He put the ball in the wrong place multiple times tonight. He lost his own job. How can you imagine this? Mike White has not had to take a snap in 2 games, and he won the QB2 job.
I don't think that's true.
Let me finish.
I think that's an overreaction.
No.
You're having an overreaction.
No, I'm not. Yes, he's not prepared to be our backup. The guy is yet to throw.
Who's our backup?
Mike White.
That's why he's QB2.
Yes.
Mike White is not. That's what's terrible about Chris Greer.
I know. I would go get another quarterback. Let me finish. I'm not done yet. Let me finish my point.
No, you're getting me going now, boy. I tell you.
I would go get another quarterback and drop these 2 right now. But Skylar Thompson tonight proved he's yet to throw a touchdown in the NFL. Number 1 in a regular season game, and the guy's played multiple starts in the NFL. He looked very shaky tonight, and if he had to go into a game for us, How did he look last week? The game.
How did he look last week?
That's preseason.
No. Yeah, but this is preseason. How did he look last week?
But he's inconsistent.
No.
Whoa.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
He was okay. He was okay.
Stop.
He wasn't a starter.
How did the team look last week?
But they were inconsistent. That's my concern.
How was the team last week?
They were okay.
Okay. How was the team today?
How were they today?
Yeah, how was
everyone misperformed? But he
exactly.
No.
So
but the 2 interceptions he threw were unacceptable. If this was Tua throwing those interceptions, Steve would be going bananas. Everyone's talked about how he could earn his job tonight. He lost his job tonight as QB2.
Get me started on
Tua. He lost his job. Okay? The running game tonight showed that it's inconsistent. that it does. This running back team they don't have a bell cow. There's not one guy there who could truly lead the way. And I truly believe they need to go get Jonathan Taylor because they're going to have, I'm telling you, if the running game or this committee, Mike McDaniel is going to be a prisoner of the passing game again. Because with Skylar Thompson, he was constantly throwing when I thought he should maybe go more to the run, and it didn't work again. Okay? That's for me on the running game. They have to go get Jonathan Taylor. And I'm going to make it very clear to everybody. You said it today, and I've been putting it in the chat. If Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel truly believe that this is a winning roster that can win playoff games and compete with a Super Bowl, who cares about the first round pick? Rob and everybody else. It is a late round, first round pick. And like I said in the DM today, Chris Greer sucks at drafting anyways. He's going to botch that pick and pick Noah. And he'll pick a corner. He ain't going to pick a running back. He ain't going to pick an offensive player at 30 or 31 or 25 or 26 or whatever it's going to be.
We wouldn't be talking about Jonathan Taylor if he would have drafted Jonathan Taylor.
Exactly.
We drafted Noah Igbenogany and Austin Jackson.
Exactly.
But we're worried about first round picks.
Okay.
And Eric,
tonight.
Let's
go. Let me go quickly over the tight ends. Let me go quickly over the tight ends.
There
were no tight ends tonight. I did not one throw to a tight end.
Where's
one
Julian
throw.
Hill?
He didn't catch a ball.
Julian Hill. Yeah. There's still a couple
tonight?
passes to tight ends. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, he didn't. We didn't have a tight end pass today. The passes were to Craycraft, Hill, Gaskin, Wilson, Berrios, Chosen, Izukama, Mostert, Brooks, Ingold, Ahmed. Smythe had 0. Connor had 0. Julian Hill had 0. Not one throw to a tight end.
Well, maybe
I'm looking at the stats. There was not one tight end reception tonight.
Okay.
Go prove it to me wrong.
It was incomplete. It was incomplete.
No. It was incomplete.
I will, Anthony.
Yeah. Each had a target. They were all missed. Okay. Not one reception from a tight end.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
From the wide receiver craft, River Craycraft is on this roster. He was very consistent with his catches today. And everyone else, Chosen got 1 or 2 throws because he was part of the first team offense. So I truly believe the top 6 are going to be Hill, Waddle, Chosen, Berrios, Craycraft, Izukama. That's going to be your 6. Okay.
In that order,
got a little pass.
Or in that order? In that order.
In that order.
In that order.
Okay, let me ask this, Evan. Anthony has a question. I'm going to let you answer this. And we'll go ahead and continue. We'll let Steve get in here. But Anthony asked, can I ask you something? Can I ask you guys something? But I'm going to give this to Evan. The oversnapping during preseason that you saw with Connor Williams, do you think it's more of him not really playing any preseason games until today?
No, I think he's just an awful center for that role. He's a great blocker. That is the position. Dan Feeney doesn't struggle with it. He has a case of the yips. It's like anything, right? It's like whenever you have to go do a presentation if you're in business, or you have to present the legal case if you're a lawyer. If you don't practice, you're going to get nervous and have a case of the yips. And he has a case of the yips. That's happened to Martin Gramatica as a kicker. It's happened to the guy in Baltimore. It happens to players. It happened to Jason Sanders last year. Jason Sanders cost us, I said it last year, cost us many times during the games with missed field goals. He turned around momentum in games. He turned the ball where the team got an advantage on the other side of the field. It hurt us. And Connor Williams is going to hurt us this season if they don't come address this. He is not a center in the NFL. A center needs to snap the ball before he blocks. I don't care how well he blocks. If he can't get the ball to the quarterback, the play is dead.
All right. I'm not acknowledging the tribal chief. I'm just holding my hand up just to say something very quick, Evan. That Anthony, Rob's correct. The Connor Williams did the oversnap last week. It was on the second drive because Tua threw the interception on the first one, and then it was the oversnap on the second one.
Yeah.
So
that almost led to a safety.
So I would go back up. I think he did start last week because it was the second drive. I think he started. I don't think it's later. But listen, the issue with that, Anthony, is that, look, again, and to me, the common denominator, and I might have to go back and look, but I think Evan pointed this out, and I saw it today. It happened today. These oversnaps happen when the quarterback is in the shotgun. I don't see it when he's under center. I might be wrong, might be one or two, but it's usually in the shotgun.
Always
right?
shotgun.
So
always shotgun.
That's where the thing. So every time that Tua is in the shotgun, we're gonna have to hold our breath. Steve, go ahead. You want to follow up on anything, brother?
No, yeah. As far as Skylar Thompson goes, I think, Evan, you're overreacting, but I digress. I think Skylar Thompson is going to be fine. I think both those guys are going to be fine at the end of the day. He had a bad game. If Tua has a bad game, he has a bad game, right? So he had a bad game. I think he's going to be just fine. And I
two
said
bad games. He had 2 bad preseason games. I'm sorry, 2.
And I said it last week when everybody was talking about, Skylar's a number 2 and blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe he might be the number 2 starting the first game of the season because, number 1, Mike White is still on concussion protocol. Of course, he'll be ready for the first of the season. But that's a fluid position. The backups are going to be a fluid position ongoing throughout the year. It's going to flip-flop. One week, Skylar Thompson, and then Mike White might have it the next week. That's the way I see it going. So I'm not concerned about the backup quarterbacks. Whoever's playing good in practice that week is probably going to be the backup.
Is Andy Dalton or Carson Wentz available? I'll take them.
I'll take that. I'll take
Carson
Andy
Wentz
Dalton for sure. I'll take them both. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I'll put it to you this way. I'll make a prediction now on this show. Mm-hmm. Skylar Thompson will not throw a touchdown this season because if he gets on the field, God help us. God help us if he gets on the field.
If he gets on the field, you better pray Tyreek and Jalen Waddle are both healthy. You better pray that Jonathan Taylor was traded to the Miami Dolphins. If Skylar Thompson is playing, you better hope those 3 guys are on the field because then we could still win football games. Yeah. But if it's Savon Ahmed back there and Jalen Waddle is out with an injury and Tyreek's the only one out there with Chosen Anderson, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
When it comes to the offense,
go ahead, Steve.
Okay. And to your point on Jonathan Taylor, no, you're spot on, Evan. The hell with them picks. The hell with the number 1 pick. It's going to be if our roster's so good like it's projected to be, and we all feel that way, we're not going to be drafting a top 10 or top 5, not even a top 15. We're going to be in the 20s, low 20s, 25, 26, 27, maybe even more. Who knows? Farther down. So, yeah, that's almost like drafting. That's like giving up a 2nd-round pick. So I say if you're all in Chris Grier, look, money is no object. If they really want Jonathan Taylor, it's not a money thing, okay?
It's not a money.
Stephen Ross is going to open up his wallet and he's going to say, here, Grier, go get Jonathan Taylor. I want to win a Super Bowl. And I don't care about a 1st-round draft pick because you can't pick a draft pick to save your freaking life.
Exactly.
Hey, look. And again, I want to paraphrase because I know Rob's going to hold me to it because he's going to say, you said 1st-round pick. I'm saying this. My baseline offer to the Colts right now is 2 2nd-round picks this year and next year and Agba. That's what I said was my baseline. Hank asked me today, Bobby, though, if they came back and said, hey, I need at least 1 1st-round pick and this deal is done, then I would say, yes, I'll give you a 1st and a 2 in Agba. I would do it if that meant getting the deal done. But I know, but what about, we're worried about next year? What about next year's 1st-round pick? What about the year before that, the year after that's 1st-round pick? I'm not worried about next year or the year after. I'm not worried about re-signing anybody next year or the year after. I'm not worried about 5 years ago or 20 years ago when Shula had an awesome team and it didn't do nothing, or when Jimmy Johnson did it, or when Dave Wanstead did it, or when Joe Philbin or the other guys did it. I don't give a damn about the past or the future. I care about right now, and right now I want a Super Bowl. And what would help me get closer to the Super Bowl would be trading for a player like Jonathan Taylor with this football team. That's what I care about. So don't tell me about a 1st-round pick next year or the year after when this guy shows he doesn't do good with 1st-round picks. Agba and Igbenogany and freaking Austin Jackson. Nobody would have been talking about Jonathan Taylor to the Dolphins because he would have been a Dolphin if it was anybody else. But no, we got Austin Jackson, Igbo. So don't talk about keeping 1st-round picks.
And I'm the one ripping Chris Grier the last couple of days. So imagine that. The bandwagoner is ripping Chris Grier. Can I make a point? The offensive line is the offensive line. It is what it is. When it is what it is until they figure it out. Maybe they'll find someone, they'll cut, they'll adjust. We'll see what happens. Let's talk about the defense. If I'm a defensive player on this roster right now, I'm terrified of Vic Fangio because a lot of them tonight proved how paper thin our defense really is. And Christian Wilkins got richer today because he is not going to budge. This guy's getting 20 plus million, 60, 50 million guaranteed without even blinking an eye. Him and Zach Sealer, without them on that middle, Moses was basically Doug Peterson or Trevor Lawrence, whoever it was, whoever you want to call Moses, pointed at the middle of the field and parted the Red Sea, and the Etienne and Bigsby went flying through. And the bend not break defense, it was a repeat of Josh Boyer's players last year. And if I'm Vic Fangio, this is exactly why he said Cam Smith, who got burnt. He got burnt and got penalized for it. Cam Smith is not there. It is going to be Eli Apple. And I'm telling you, this week, you're going to hear it again tomorrow or on Monday, whether it's Akeem Smith, or I forget his name is, or Bryce Callahan, or one of the left corners, one of the veteran corners is going to be a Miami Dolphin this week, because he is not trusting Cam Smith. Kair Kohu got the middle. I do not trust Nick Needham. And I'm telling you, it's going to be Eli Apple, and they're going to bring in a Bryce Callahan or Akeem Smith, whoever it is. They're going to bring somebody in as a veteran, because I'm telling you, what they showed today in the corners, they're going to get burned. And Noah on the Calvin Ridley got the one where he backed in, got twisted, turned. He looked completely lost on that play. That was his play. If that was X on that side, X would have gone back for 6. Noah looked completely lost on that play. He is. If they cut, I would put him on the 53. I would not. Him and Eichenberg should not be on the 53. 100%.
Let me just say this very quick, and I go back to it just because I'm seeing the comments. I just want to clarify something. First off, let me just say this very quick, guys. Just let me know this very quick, okay? I have this team going 11-6 currently. That's my prediction for this roster this year. Evan, what's your record this year?
After tonight's game or before tonight's game?
No, come on. No, not an overreaction. Tell me before
11-6, 11-6. But after what I saw today with the depth, if they don't get Jonathan Taylor, and they don't sign Christian Wilkins, and Zach Sealer and him do not start the regular season, they'll get 9 wins. If those three play, I'm telling you, no Christian Wilkins, okay. If they don't sign Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer in the middle of that line,
so but 11,
they're not going to have a 500 record. They'll have 11 wins with the current roster if Sealer and Wilkins are there, and they signed another veteran corner, whether it's a Bryce Callahan or whoever to help in the corner position. Because I don't care, you can never have too many corners, and that showed again tonight that the backup and depth corners are not great. If they can solidify and have a veteran corner alongside X, that Wilkins and Sealer are there, and that they have a fair and Chris Brooks, and then they have a fair running back by committee, they'll get 11. If Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer are not there, also, you know what I realized with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, they need that. They need those two guys in the middle. They could not get to the quarterback otherwise. This is an 11-win team with the roster if it's complete. If they don't, they're a 9-win team.
Okay, I say quickly. It's like, oh, all the way. But that's good. All right, so 11-6, but 9 wins based on what you saw today, but really 11-6. All right. And Steve, what was your prediction this year, brother?
Oh, I said 11-6. If we add with the current roster we have now, and Wilkins and Sealer playing, and current, everything we have together now, I said 11-6. If we, if we
with
add,
Ramsey 12-5,
huh?
I said with Ramsey 12-5. When we lost Ramsey, I dropped a win.
Yeah, no, I still stayed the same. Even
I stayed the same.
I moved down one.
Okay,
I moved down one.
That's fine, but with Jonathan Taylor, because he adds such a dynamic, all around dynamic to this offense, and he's gonna at least get 8-10 touchdowns. If he's healthy, I think he can get 8 or 10 touchdowns. Hell, he got 18 touchdowns the year before last. So I would say we'll go 12-5 if we add a Jonathan Taylor. And not only that, but the benefit of offering a Jonathan Taylor is not only a benefit to Tua, but whoever's at the helm at quarterback. And we're going to be that much closer to being a Super Bowl contending team.
And let me just say, because the talk about Taylor being the difference between Dolphins winning or sucking gets me over. I'm not saying that. I think the Dolphins. That's my point with this whole 11-6 talk, or with all this. Hold on, my prediction is I didn't see that.
Stupid comment.
Whose comment?
I don't like this. I don't want to hear about outside zone, inside zone crap nonsense. If Dalton Reisner wants to be a Dolphin tomorrow, I'd sign him.
Yeah. Let me just say this very quick. I think this team is going 11 wins. I think they're going to be a playoff team. But what happens when you add a Taylor is you solidify being a playoff contending football team. That's the difference. It's not saying the Dolphins are going to suck without Taylor. That's not true. Now, they could suck with bad depth, which they do have. And if that's the point, if one of these guys go down, that's going to be a pretty damn bad look for the Dolphins. But no one is talking about trading for a first round pick for a player. Also means having to give up that player money. We already talked about this. The salary cap is a fantasy. I don't want to hear about all that. You're talking about losing Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, or one of those other guys if we go and get Jonathan Taylor. You restructure contracts. You give a bonus. Now you got more cap space. If they want to bring a player back, they could bring a player back. You're not losing a player. Unless the Dolphins purposely want to lose a player, it's not because you traded for Jonathan Taylor. It's because they were okay missing out on that guy or losing on that guy. It's not because of that. So I don't want to hear no more about the cap. Because if a player like Christian Wilkins leaves, it's just like Gesicki. Gesicki left for nothing. Not because they didn't have the money to pay him. It's because they didn't want to bring him back. It wasn't because of cap. It wasn't because trading for Bradley Chubb. It wasn't for trading for Tyreek. It was none of those reasons. So I'm not worried about re-signing anybody because the Dolphins, if they really want to re-sign someone, they'll make it happen.
In your dreams, Anthony, never going to happen.
What happened?
That will never happen. They'll never trade Wilkins for Taylor. Never going to happen.
No, I don't think that's good.
And the second and third will not get you Taylor. Not a chance. It's going to be first or bust. I'm telling you.
I think the Colts are looking for an offensive line.
No, Irsay is.
Got you, Rob. I got you.
Irsay's dead set on this.
No, I'm saying they're looking for offensive linemen, right?
Could I make a point just quickly? The Rams, when they won the Super Bowl, they were similar to the Dolphins. They got a Stark. They got a very good quarterback. They had very high level defense. Whether with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, and on offense they had Beckham, and they went to go get Miller. But behind that, you saw last year when their players got injured and they lost their stars. When there was Cooper Kupp out, Von Miller wasn't there anymore. But Sam Bradford, what's his name? Matthew Stafford got injured. They were a complete shell of a team. They were thin on paper too, below their depth. The Miami Dolphins right now have they've already shown their cards. If they're going to go get star players, because before they signed Tyreek Hill, we only consider ourselves having maybe 1 or 2 Pro Bowlers and X. Now potentially we have 7 or 8 Pro Bowlers, but by doing that and becoming very top heavy, do what you need to do to be top heavy and go win, because you've already put your eggs in that basket. You're not developing a team like the Tampa Bay Rays in baseball where you're good every year. You're trying to win it now. Go fill up every position where you have the ability to go win it now. Don't pussyfoot around it. And I'm sorry to tell you this, you've already ruined the running back room by saying that you're going to, everyone knows you tried to go after Swift. You tried to go after Cook.
Josh
Jacobs. Now you're going after Taylor. You don't think that that's going to have an effect on that running room? I don't want to hear that's going to motivate them. Bull crap. It's not going to motivate. There's a reason why you got to get them, because not one player in there, including A-Chain, who's a rookie, is going to get you 1,000 yards. They're going to be lucky if they get you 1,500 yards, 5 people combined. One guy alone can get you 1,500 with his eyes closed.
Let me see. Samuel in the house. Samuel, thank you for tuning in. Dalton,
you know how much they gave up for Christian McCaffrey? Holy cramoly.
Was it a second, right? A second, a fourth, or 2 seconds or something like that?
I'll tell you the Christian McCaffrey trade.
I know it wasn't at first. Yeah, but no, Wingate's, I get what Wingate is saying.
But he was injury prone.
But Christian McCaffrey is no Jonathan Taylor.
Chris McCaffrey is a damn good running back.
He's good running back.
Here's my thing about Jonathan Taylor. Here's my thing. I'm sorry. My thing is he's 24 years old. He's 3 years in the league. He was hurt last year. The year before that, he was the rushing champion. I think 1,800 yards. I don't have the numbers in front of me. This guy's
1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns.
Thank you. He's in his prime. And this is my thing. The Philadelphia Eagles, and I know Josh doesn't like this, but the Eagles are a Super Bowl contending team. If they go into a bidding war, you don't think they're going to go? You think they're going to worry about giving up a first round pick if they think they got their one guy away from the Super Bowl?
Picks. 4 draft picks: 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Okay.
And Philadelphia, I think, is in play for Jonathan Taylor too, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think if they go, okay, Miami's there, let's go ahead and let's give up a 1. You think giving up
the Eagles aren't? No, the Eagles aren't into it. The only reason the Eagles want to draft them is so that their running back core is Taylor Swift. That's the only reason why they're going after them.
Lou. Listen, but my point is that do you think a team
Malloy
like
didn't
that
get
would
the
worry?
joke?
No, I don't think he did. I don't even know if he knows who Taylor Swift is. But my point is that I'm just playing. Is that do you think they're worried about a first round pick when they're going to probably be in the Super Bowl next year or in the conference championship? No. So should have drafted. Well, we said that, Duke. Well, I'm with you. And Duke had a point earlier. Let me just run by Duke's stuff. And Duke, thank you for tuning in. He says 11-6 offensive line worries me the most. It should worry everybody. Here's the thing. It doesn't worry the Dolphins. And that's why, like, when people say Dalton Reisner or let's go get this guy or that guy, again, if Quentin Nelson from the Colts was available or Zach Martin, one of those guys that was demanding a trade and he was interested in the Dolphins, then I would be pounding the table for one of those offensive linemen and not for Jonathan Taylor. But Steve knows this because I was on Steve's show with Rob before the offseason, and I said, and Derrick Henry, go get Derrick Henry because he was available at that time. They were exploring the market, or Dalvin Cook. I was all for adding a star running back because I think that's what this offense needs. So I'm not off that train. I've been on it. I've been consistent. Unlike this football team, I've been consistent with my points of view. And I think that a starting star-type running back could help this team, and like Evan says, could help our coach be a 50-50 type of guy, not straight up pass, not 80-20, but more of a 50-50, 60-40 split. That's why I'm on I believe that with a Jonathan Taylor, who's in his prime, could do that. What about a Michael Carter in New York?
No more average running backs.
Yeah, I think Miami's offense this year, they're gonna need to be more like 55-45. That's just my opinion.
They know what's coming.
Huh? What's coming?
The defenses are going to know what's coming. I'm telling you.
Who?
They know they're going to go past. I'm telling you.
Oh yes, exactly. That's. I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit, but no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to do more dinking and dunking and more. That's why I think they've been practicing the shorter passes this year. Is because of that. They're going to use a lot of short passes, a lot of running. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just want to follow up this. Samuel, again, thank you for tuning in. I would switch running game with offensive line. The Dolphins is happy with the offensive line, and they're not happy with the running back because guess what? They've been openly flirting with every running back that's available. Okay, they explored Derrick Henry. They tried to trade for Dalvin Cook. They tried to sign Dalvin Cook, but they didn't want to go over Dalvin Cook. I wonder why. Jonathan Taylor hit. Josh Jacobs. They called the Raiders about Josh Jacobs. Mike McDaniel wanted Jahmyr Gibbs. They drafted A-Chain and still explored Dalvin Cook, and now we're into Jonathan Taylor. The Dolphin fans are happy with the running back room, and I'm okay with the running back room if stays the way it is. But the Dolphins aren't happy with their running back room because they're openly flirting with every running back that's available. Stop living in that fantasy. Come to reality. Go ahead.
The reason why I'm not satisfied with the running back room is because I watched every minute of every second of every game last season, and I saw it again tonight. Mike McDaniel is going to go to his star players over the running back room unless he has a star there. I'm just telling you, it's exactly what he's going to do. I don't care if he's worked with Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, Savon Ahmed in San Francisco. I could not care less. If that's his running back room heading into the season, I'm telling you against the Chargers, he is going to throw 75, run 25. I'm telling you, he is going to try to blow it up and go high-speed offense again, and it's going to bite him in the ass. So go get Taylor. I don't care what you have to give up, because I'm telling you, if this team continues at the path it is and it ends up with 9 wins, Ross is going to clean house. This is not going to end well. And the Dolphins are literally, we're going to call it, as Dolphin fans, we're going to call it quits after 2-3 games. Because if they go 0-2 in the first 2, if they get demolished by the Chargers and it's same old Dolphins that it was last year, the season's over. I'm telling you, they better get their shit together, because right now they're trying to cut that down. They're trying to cut it down to 53. I'd be lucky if I trust 40 guys on this roster. They have to go find players to solidify this roster to me after what I saw tonight. It was a joke. They need more corners. They need more corners. They need more defensive line help. They need more offensive line help. They have to get a bell cow running back. Because you saw tonight that David Long didn't look in place. Chubb didn't play that well. Phillips looked lost and frustrated. He got every. I don't know if you noticed. Go watch the tape. Every play on a running play, Jalen Phillips was looking for Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer. And the only time, luckily, we saw Christian, not for the right reason, but we saw Christian Wilkins because he's the league union rep, and he came on the field, and he's the one who worked with McManus to decide with McDaniel and with Peterson to end the game. But for me, I think also tonight, because Bobby and myself, we wanted the veteran head coach, the older head coach taught a valuable lesson on how to run a clean game. He outcoached McDaniel tonight. He outcoached McDaniel. And the defense right now, Vic Fangio is probably saying to himself when he wakes up tomorrow, why didn't I take the Philly job? Because the way the defense, without Wilkins and Sealer, I guarantee he's walking into Chris Fear's office tomorrow, and he's basically saying, you give me my middle of the defensive line, or I'm not going to be here long. This is a disaster. This was Josh Boyer 2.0 tonight, the way the defense played. It was the parting of the Red Sea. And right now, that the reason I understand it's a preseason game, everyone. I understand it's a preseason game, but the next time we're going to see the Miami Dolphins on the field is against the team that gave them the biggest fit last year and which basically devastated our season. San Francisco was a game that we just didn't play well. Tua had a bad game. The Charger game was the worst game we played all season. And that is a revenge game for us. And if we go in with the current roster exactly how it is, I'm telling you, it could very likely be a repeat of last year, because I'm telling you, we all revert back to what we used to do. We all do that in life, right? I want to try and lose 50 pounds. You get to the first 20, you have a rough day at work, or you have a bad breakup, you're back on the wagon again. That's what happens. Mike McDaniel's going to see that his running back room is struggling a little bit, and he's going to see Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Robbie Chosen and Beckham. I'm going to throw the ball. Tua has the ball. I'm going to throw it. I'm telling you, it's going to lead to a disaster. So I'm telling you, they have to do everything they can to get the stars on this team. It's the only way that McDaniel is going to be forced to utilize them. I'm telling you.
So let's douse the hellfire and brimstone and the negative, and let's go with the positive here, Steve.
Realistic. You rubbed off on me.
Sorry. Okay, Steve. You're caught by two realistic dudes that people don't like to hear to listen to most of the time.
I love you both.
But Steve, let's get to the positive side, man. What players? We talk about individual performances because it is preseason, and guys are trying to make the team. We talked about Chris Brooks, and you could name Chris Brooks. If you could, name 3 players that stood out to you today, or more than 3 players. What players stood out to you when you looked at it and you go, damn, I like what I saw from this kid?
Definitely Craycraft. He really solidified a spot on this roster. I did like Brooks. I don't know. I hope he played well enough to make a roster spot. It's going to be some tough cuts. But I don't think he's going to be on the roster. I just don't see it, but I'd like for him to. So those 2, and then on defense, man, it's tough.
No one.
Nobody really stood out on defense to me.
Hey, I'm gonna give flowers to Baker. Jerome Baker stopped that touchdown. He saved a touchdown.
Yeah. Okay, Baker. I could give Baker
first play of all season.
I could give Baker that, but I mean, a lot of these players, they didn't. They flashed one play here or there, but they just were inconsistent. All of them. So I really can't give any kudos to all of them. But on offense, definitely Brooks stuck out again to me, and of course Craycraft. And I think he'll make the roster, as Evan had pointed out. I think the roster, as far as our receivers go, of course, we know who our starters are. And then I think it was between Chosen and Craycraft, and I think Craycraft won out tonight. So I think Craycraft makes it. I will say Isu Kamo, probably I can see the potential there. He's got some good hands. I think he'll make the roster. And, of course, Barrios. And that's it. Those are your 5.
There you go. Evan, you about agree with that list?
Yeah, the only one we forgot was Cedric Wilson. He got a few catches today, but
against the 14.
Maybe Chosen was using. Chosen they kept in the first team offense, so I'm convinced he's going to play. I don't know. I think they may end up keeping. Like I said, I'd rather keep 6. One less tight end and more wide receivers and keep 6, because at this point, if you're going to be a prisoner of the passing game, just have as many receivers as you can out there. I don't know, but I'll put it to you this way. From what I saw in the preseason as a whole, I've yet to see any change in the involvement of the Miami Dolphins head office and of this head coach. Because even if Vic Fangio is still trying to get the development there, but maybe he's doing. We said last year when they struggled at the beginning of the preseason, it's a smoke screen. he's starting to rub. I'm telling you, I don't know. I have this sickening feeling. He's similar to Flores, where he's very stubborn. Because for me, if I coach kids also, okay, I coach my kids in hockey and all that kind of stuff. If I see someone who's not performing well, I don't try to fit a square peg in a round hole. And if someone's struggling at center in hockey, and they better at defense, or they're not the right goal, I move them around and I train them differently. I don't keep on forcing until they get it right. Some people are just not skills. I have 2 twin boys. One is a natural athlete, and one is better at other things, and that's fine. I'm not going to force him to do something just because I want him to do it because of it. Connor Williams is not a center, but you're forcing him to be a center. You didn't trade him to be a center. Mike McDaniel is a running game coordinator, and you're not giving him a running game. Give him a star, Chris Greer. Go do what you have to do. So that's why I'm tired of it. I'm tired, and you want to what? Give Vic Fangio his defense. You should have signed Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins has 14 sacks in 4 years, and he's trying to compare himself to Quinnen Williams, who has 43. Okay? They're not the same player. So you could have got him for 14 or 15 million, but because that's what I'm trying to understand. Chris Greer is willing to big trades and spend in certain spots, that all of a sudden he's penny pinching. And I go to myself, why are you being so conservative in certain places? For what purpose are you trying to do this? He has a very top-heavy roster, but if you're going to go all in with offense, do something about it. If you know that people, because today, you know what people learned? Without Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer, and Doug Peterson was not stupid, I'm going to destroy them by running the ball.
But can I just say very quick? Let me just say this very quick. Because Samuel has a good point here, or overall, he's talking about the defense, but I think it's overall on the team, because it is an overreaction wagon, you know. I mean, because it's fresh reactions to what you saw.
No, it's real. It's raw.
But listen, no. Samuel says this season we'll see that defense base. We'll have the defense, and you can't go by the preseason because it's preseason. It's for the coaching staff. Look, there's things that the coaching staff and the offense and defense that they're not showing us. You're not going to see everything. You're not going to get the best versions of the team. You know, because then you got to go back to that thing of it is just preseason. You might see the defense all of a sudden light it up. And like, again, yeah, Jalen Ramsey was nice. We got Jalen Ramsey. We're excited for him, but he got hurt. But I still think with or without Ramsey, this could be a very good team because of Vic Fangio. I think he's going to help Bradley Chubb. Some people already say Bradley Chubb's a bust trade. I don't think that's fair to say. He came in half a season. Let's give him this season to prove that he was not a bust. And I think with Vic Fangio, he could. It is preseason. I understand, yes, there are things to be concerned with. There are things that we could point to and say, hey, like, you know, yes, we're talking Jonathan Taylor because it's an option on the table. The Dolphins are talking to him, so it's a hot topic. And I can understand reacting to a preseason game after you think things are going to change. You want to see some turnaround. Last week, we ended 28-3. Scott Thompson throwing 3 touchdowns. Offensive, Chris Brook, the running game overall looked really good. With Ahmed and everything, we came out going, hey, damn, man, I really like what I saw from this football team. Week 1 as well with Izukama. He looked like Debo Jr. There were flashes with some of these one-on-one players. Now it's not the time really to go kind of crazy, you know, off one game, especially preseason, because, yes, Samuel's right. You know, this is just for the coaching staff. Coaching staff's trying to experiment with players. Oh, let me throw him here. Let me put him here. Let's see what this guy's able to do. Listen, and that's why they do the cuts and all that. I think the Dolphins aren't putting all their cards on the table in regards of what the preseason has shown. That's why I still think none of this. I'm not taking off 2 wins. I'm not going from 11-6 to 9-8. Okay, I'm still at 11-6 because I believe in the roster overall, even with the depth concerns. Now, if Tua goes down more than 2 games, like I said, I think he's going to play 15 games this year. That's my projection, 15 games. But if he goes down, he's out for 13 games. Then then we're going to start taking off some wins. But this is, for me, an 11-6 football team, and that hasn't changed from this preseason. Rob from DolphinsThirsty.com. Again, guys, if you haven't gone there yet, go check it out. Go to his YouTube page. He'll be on tomorrow. Great content. He says Chubb is not a bust, but that did not rocket us to a playoff win because we didn't have a Jonathan Taylor. No, I'm just kidding, Rob.
We didn't have Tua.
Well, that's true too. Come on now. We didn't have the guy. We didn't have the quarterback. How would you rate? Let me ask Steve this question. Because Steve is you know, we know Steve. He's our neighborhood Tua critic. No hate on him. It's just as a Dolphin fan, you have every right to criticize any player in this football team. But Duke says, ask the question, Steve. How would you rate Tua's performance, A, B, or C tonight?
Tonight, where did you see that comment? Okay.
Right,
How did you rate Tua's performance, A, B, or C? I would say a B.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see anything wrong with Tua tonight.
No, I think he was. I think
he did well. He threw the ball around and looked really good out there. So
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Rob says a B as well. Evan, what do you got? A, B, C, F? Knowing you.
B for I give him a B, and I give McDaniel an F. Because the one thing we didn't see, you want to have fun in the preseason? All I saw was the same across the number bull crap. Where is it going to the sidelines? Where was a deep pass? Try something fun. On the first play with Skylar Thompson, you're bombing the ball and you're trying different things. Tua, the same boring nonsense. Can we see some? They're not. Don't tell me they're hiding it. I don't want to hear this nonsense about they're hiding it. His biggest throw tonight, with most of his yards, was basically giving it to Tyreek Hill in a 5-yard slant, and him taking the rest of the 28, the rest of the 29 by himself.
That's okay.
So, no, my point is that I didn't see any involvement. That's what I understand, that there may be smoke screening, whatever you want to say it, but I'm just telling you, there is no involvement in this coach so far for me. He's bugging me again because I did not see anything. I want the preseason games to be an improvement each and every game as you watch the tape and see what you did wrong the previous game. They played worse today than they did against the Falcons. Today was a disaster of gargantuan proportion. And for me, I'm nervous going 2 weeks from now because I don't know. It's like having a paper due tomorrow. Like if the season started next week, oh my God, would we be in trouble? Thank God he has 2 weeks to organize. Because right now, if this was his roster, exactly how it is, and they don't have the chance to go get players who are going to be cut, they're going to go sign a corner, they're going to go do this. The only person I truly have faith in right now is Jason Sanders because he had a perfect preseason. Everything else, until Christian Wilkins is signed, Zach Sealer's healthy. I know Armstead's playing week 1, and then Jeff Wilson gets out of what's his name? Byron Jones's a guest house and comes for a visit to the Miami Dolphins practice facility because I've yet to see him. I'm okay. I don't know where he is. He's a MIA. I'm nervous.
Good, Scotty. Steve, read Scotty's comment.
What's that?
Read Scotty's comment. I posted up on there.
Scotty's.
That's only on the post game.
I thought you were negative. Holy crap! This guy ran laps around you.
Hey, and you know, Scotty, you would know that Evan Posner is the Mr. Positive on the Fins bandwagon. Funny. He drives the bandwagon because me and Steve are too negative. And this is what I'm talking about. Post game, you have overreaction, Evan. And then when it comes Thursday night, he's back to calm down. He's like, Bobby, I saw this, but positivity. Yes, Steve.
I am really disappointed tonight. I needed a warm and fuzzy. And, I knew Evan was coming on, and I know we had lost the game, and I was kind of upset about it. And some of the performances, I said, man, I got to go on tonight because Evan, he's going to give me that warm and fuzzy, that Finn's bandwagon feel. What happened?
Evan, are you being real right now, or is this a skit?
Honestly, it's really real. I'll tell you why. I'll be honest with you. You know this. You know my love for my team. I love this roster. Oh, this is the team. I love this team. But I wanted to see tonight. I didn't need to see a win. But when I see things that I have been very, very concerned about, no matter my positivity, the way that it's for me, I see what Flores did to the team for a couple of years, and then I said, okay, here's a breath of fresh air with McDaniel. And if that's true, but if Connor Williams did not undersnap a ball, that for me got me going. I'm telling you, it's when you get pricked, like that one play for me told me they're not learning their lesson. And shame on Butch Berry, shame on Frank Smith, and shame on Mike McDaniel because Mike McDaniel's the head coach. So no matter what, if he didn't want Connor Williams at center, he wouldn't be at center. Okay, so for me, and then also Skylar Thompson misreading those 2 plays on consecutive plays. And by the way, he has thrown 4 interceptions in 43 passes, plus a fumble. Imagine that. Imagine if Tua fumbled the ball once and threw 4 interceptions in 43 passes. He'd be off every Dolphins, except for Tua, every person, including Steve, would want him off the team. My point is that Mike McDaniel's development and involvement in the preseason compared to last season, I have not seen any sense of improvement. It's the same goddamn roster with a few other fringe players. That's why I'm concerned. I have that sour taste in my mouth of that 4th and 1 call of last year in Buffalo. I'm sorry, I still have a sour taste in my mouth because he cost us that game. He cost us that game because we could have had a chance to win. And this offseason, this preseason, I did not see any improvement from Skylar Thompson compared to last year. Connor Williams hasn't gotten better. The offensive line hasn't gotten better. The defense without Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer is in trouble. And our running back room showed tonight that it's inconsistent. And that's the one thing the Miami Dolphins have been very good at for the last year and a half. They're consistent at being inconsistent. That's what I saw tonight. It solidified it for me. And unless I see a Bryce Callahan, but unless I want to see movement, I expect signings this week with veteran players to solidify this roster. I don't want to see development nonsense anymore. I don't want to see it. I don't. Not this season. I expect multiple playoff wins.
So
I expect a lot more from my team. I expect a lot more than what I saw tonight. Okay. A lot more.
So Josh Wingate says he's going to run the bandwagon. He'll be the host for Thursday night. We got a Cowboys fan who's going to be the Fins bandwagon.
Not a chance.
He says he says it's the same roster because, and again, his wife's a Dolphins fan. TD Fins talk in the house. Good to see TD.
I agree with for the first time ever. I agree with TD. For the circle the calendar, pigs do fly. Hey, TD Fins, you're welcome on the bandwagon. Thursday, 8 p.m.
Oh, goodness gracious. Let's do this. I want to do this very quick because we're on the hour, but we're having a good time. We're talking Dolphins football. It's the final game. Sure. Let's do this. And everyone, it's Slim. Good to see you as well. You got to have this guy on after every loss this season. He's like a losing therapist. Oh, goodness gracious. Hey, come every Sunday night after the Dolphins game, 8:00 Eastern, post-game show. You'll get this, Evan. Win, lose, or draw. Book it. TD says book it. So get a hold of TD, Evan.
No problem.
TD's one friend of the network. He's been on Real Talk. He's been on
I'll DM him.
My show as well. Great dude.
I'll DM you
overtime. But you want Tannenbaum moves that we just paid off in 2019. But let me go by this, okay? Because we talked Skylar.
Greer was there. Greer was there.
Evan, I want you to keep this quick, okay?
I will. I promise.
2 sentences minimum. So, and then
no problem.
I want to go. Promise. I want to do this, okay? For you and Steve, okay? So, okay, Steve, I'm going to start with you. Then I'm going to follow up with Evan. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to tell me A, B, or whatever. You could say, "Hey, I'm confident, not confident." Mm-hmm. Are you after the preseason? Are you confident or not confident in our quarterback room?
Confident in the quarterback room?
Yes, sir. That includes everybody. Everybody. Tua, Skylar, Mike White, James Blackman.
Okay, so a scale from, if we're going with I'm going to use a scale from 1 to 10. I would say the quarterback room for me right now is at about a 5.5.
Okay. Evan, where would you rate that?
I'd
say that's so-so.
8.
8, okay.
10 for Tua, 5.5 for the other two. So it averages up to a 7.5 or an 8.
Okay, got you. All right. Now I'm going to Evan. Okay, our running back room.
Right now?
Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10?
Yes.
A 3.
All right, Steve.
I would say for running back room,
3.
Yes, sir.
Wow. At presently, I'm still about a 5.5.
Okay, that's interesting to me, and I'll get to that at this. So 5 and a 3 there. Our receiving room, Steve.
7.
Okay, 7. Ooh, okay. Evan.
8.5.
Okay. let me go. Tight ends. Evan.
Negative. As Canadians like to say, less than a loony.
So
less than one.
Not confident whatsoever. Gotcha.
There is
Steve?
we do not have tight ends. Tight end does not exist on this team.
Okay.
Didn't last year, didn't this year.
I'd
Steve?
say about a 3. It's 3.
Okay, gotcha.
Ooh, we don't even have 3 tight ends.
Offensive line, Steve.
4.5.
4.5. Duke says what tight ends? That's awesome. Evan, offensive line.
What did you give it, Steve?
4.5.
I'd give it a 4.
You guys have been pretty consistent. Okay. So let's move on to defense here. Edge rushers. Evan.
5.
Steve.
I'll go with 5.
All right. Interior defensive line, Steve.
Based on today's performance?
Yes, sir.
Or overall?
Preseason.
Oh, okay. 4.5.
4.5. All right, Evan. What do you got?
6.
6. All right. Linebackers, Evan. Where do you have them ranked or rated?
2.
Jesus. All right, Steve.
I'll say 3.
Okay. All right. Secondary, Steve. Where do you got them?
2.5.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. This is like a cool little science experiment here. I mean, man, I'm getting some shocking numbers, but cool. All right, Evan. Secondary.
3.25.
You're such a pain in the ass. All
Or
right.
pi. 3.1472. Because I'm very confused. I'm telling you. By the way, I will tell you this. If Noah wasn't on it, I'd give it a 9. The fact that they still give snaps to Noah, unbelievable. I've never seen a bigger bust in my life than that man. He was that play with Calvin Ridley solidified his career in one nutshell. He doesn't know if he's coming or going. There's no clue where he's going.
I agree, Evan. I really had a little hope for Igbo.
Did you see him on that play?
That's awesome news, Rob. Thank you for sharing that, man.
He did well in joint practices and in training camp. He did really well. I thought he was coming on. I thought this Fangio scheme really fit him well. I don't know. It's a preseason game, right? Will he make the roster with our cornerback and safety depth? I'm afraid he might make the roster.
Go get Bryce Callahan. Go get Akeem Smith.
He might stay on the roster.
So last but not
shame
least,
on Vic Fangio. Shame on Vic Fangio. That'll be his first mistake.
So last but not least, and then I want to get to Josh's question. Rob provides an update on the rookie receiver who was hurt, that he is moving all extremities now, fully alert, which is great news. Let's go with the special teams, Evan. Special teams, run the 10.
Kicker all overall?
Overall.
Thanks to Jason Sanders, I'll give them a 5. Without Jason Sanders, they get a 0. They are awful. They have no capability. They have the same hiccups. They kept the same coach. The only person who's improved is Jason Sanders. Jake Bailey's Jake Bailey. He'll be fine. But that they're going to give up. They're going to give up a touchdown. The way they look today, they're going to give up a touchdown on the first kickoff of the Charger game. I'm telling you, they look awful. Gracious.
Steve,
2.5.
2.5.
Oh, look at this. It must be for my good looks, right? You missed what he said. Come on, look at this.
Oh, all right, Slim. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, my man. We have a lot of great content on here, not just Dolphin stuff, and I swear we always have fun. It's all fun and at least positive natured. I wouldn't say always, if you want to say
I love it. Scotty, you want to come on the bandwagon on Thursday? You just made my night. This is exactly what I do.
Hey, Scotty's on the money right there. I like that for Scotty. Y'all think this team is winning 11 games? I have them winning 11 games, Josh. I do. I have them winning 11 games. I think all of us do. I think
I'm part of my team now. By the way, all this on McDaniel. You know how hard I am on him? And Connor Williams is not choosing to play center. They put him there. The fact that Christian Wilkins is not there, that's on Greer. The fact that they don't have a bell cow running back, that falls on Greer. The way the roster is constructed, the way that the players have been put into places, because I don't know if you saw this tonight. Like I said this earlier, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are very reliant on Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer. You saw it tonight. They could not get a sniff of the quarterback. If you don't have run stoppers in the middle, your edge rushers are not going to get to the quarterback. Period. Point final.
I kept mine to myself, Josh. But yes, you all have this team about 4.5 out of 10 overall. I invite him to join always. So, Scotty, I believe he's talking about.
Tati, you never accepted my invite.
Did you invite Tati on the bandwagon?
Always. You're the only one's not allowed on.
I could cancel it. No,
I even left room for Malloy. Thirsty's off, by the way. Thirsty's off. Malloy took his place.
Really? Rob is off the bandwagon?
With all his banter, and he's been heckling me for days. I'm telling you.
Is it because he pissed off your dad this morning? I mean,
he really hurt us. That got me going. Ooh, you don't touch my father.
Oh, Rob is all alone.
You leave my father alone, and you don't bother Uncle Steve. Okay.
The boss has spoken. She said, "I cannot cancel anything. I'm not allowed to cancel the bandwagon."
Because if you remember when I first joined the network, what was the first thing I told you, Bobby? I want Steve on my show, and then you told me, "Wait, he's joining the network." I go, "Hallelujah!"
Oh man, Dolphins, you left me off. No, but goodness gracious! But look, let me just say here. Okay, so I think Tuesday is the deadline. We're gonna start wrapping up. Sure.
Before we go, what are your thoughts on Vic Fangio's? What do you expect? I feel like, don't you feel that if you wouldn't know who the defensive coordinator was on this team, you would think it's the same structure and the same defense? I didn't see anything different in these 3 preseason games to tell me that this was a different kind of defense. And maybe it's because they haven't had their full roster with Christian Wilkins, everyone going at the same time. But from these preseason games, we have yet to see the full team on because Wilkins is holding out and Sealer, they got a little bit injured. And Ramsey's not there, but I didn't see anything different. They struggled on third down again today.
Are you getting to the question?
Well,
what are your thoughts on the defense overall, and do you feel that he has the pulse of this defense yet?
Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, I was gonna say, actually, Evan, this defense is what you see. That is a Vic Fangio defense, bend and break. The only problem is we had that one turnover, which was great by Holland and who was the other? Yeah, they made that great play. That's a Vic Fangio identity of a Vic Fangio defense. That's what we need to see more of this year. But we are definitely going to see a bend but not break is the theory behind it. A lot of dinking and dunking. The way you're going to beat our defense is a lot of dinking and dunking, long drives, a lot of runs, and the only way that is when you make your own mistakes. Other than that, that's the only way. We're going to have to create some turnovers because that's what we're going to see. And in our middle of the line, our defensive tackles, Davis and Wilkins, and Chubb and also Phillips, they're going to have to freaking cause havoc. They're going to have to rush the passer, organic pass rush. So no, it's not the same as a Josh Boyer defense. Now there is some elements of it. Yes. But as far as seeing his defense and you feel it's a Boyer, no, it's not. It's definitely has the fingerprints of a Vic Fangio defense. The execution has to be better.
I like that.
You don't know who Frontal Logo is, do you?
No, I don't, but I like that he said he'll get you. Let me just say this very quick to answer your question, and I want to get to Josh Wingate's question. Josh Wingate is the host of our Beer and Sports podcast show on Monday nights. But very quick, in regards to that, I'm not ready to judge Vic Fangio yet and how he runs his defense until the regular season. I could judge maybe Mike McDaniel because I've seen Mike McDaniel coach his team in this personnel, but I'm not ready for Vic Fangio yet. I want to see, let's go a few weeks in before we could actually judge him as the coach of this defense, because it is preseason. I don't think we've seen everything yet. I know you don't like that, but I do believe that. I'm not ready to say, hey, I've seen a huge difference, or I've seen not enough difference. I'm going to wait on that with Vic Fangio. Josh, Evan, I'll let you answer that. How has Cam Smith looked this preseason?
He looked great last game. This game, he looked completely different. He got burnt.
That I agree.
He got penalized. He struggled today. He showed he's a rookie because he got burnt, and he didn't even get burnt by a star. He got burnt by a backup.
Didn't he get beat by Calvin Ripley?
No, that was Noah. He got burnt by.
Okay.
He got burnt by I forget the guy's name, Tim Jones or one of those guys.
Okay, gotcha.
The guy's like a second-year player.
Right, you're right. I forgot. Yeah,
so
you're right.
He has looked average. He looks like a rookie. He's better than Noah. He's going to be a great player.
Yeah,
but he's no Sauce Gardner. Yeah, I'll put it to you this way: he's a third-round pick. He's not a second-round pick.
Enough.
Sorry, the second-round pick. He's a late second-rounder. He is not a first-round pick.
Fair enough. I agree. I don't think he's going to be a starter right off the bat. He's going to take some time to develop.
No way.
They're going to throw him into the mix, but he's definitely not going to be one of the starters.
No.
But and I think to be fair to Cam Smith, he was injured. He got injured. He had a shoulder injury, so I know it's no excuses, but he didn't participate in practices. He did some drills. But he didn't actually do any of the 11-on-11s and stuff like that. I think he did one time at the joint practice in Houston, but he almost got hit really hard, and so they took him out right away. This ain't going to work. But anyway.
Okay, guys, I have added another pick. We're trading a first-round pick, Emmanuel Ogbah, and we're going to be transferring Dolphins Thirsty over to Indianapolis, and it's going to be the new website's going to be called Colts Parched. They're going to be very parched for Colts.
That's awesome.
Colts get parched. That's what we're doing. It's no longer Dolphins Thirsty. It's be Colts are parched. That's what we're doing. We're adding Thirsty. They get that positivity and the warm and fuzzies from Colts chatter. Okay?
Yeah. I never thought Rob would rub so many feathers today, that ruffled so many feathers than he did with you and Hankster today. He's having a blast. Good for him. Let me just say, excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's why he's being traded.
Oh, goodness gracious. And I got my producer, my boss, actually, texted me. I was like, say, mute yourself when you cough. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was coming. But let me just say this as we're going to wrap this up. First off, it's a very eventful week. Yes, there's no game this week. We got a game next week with the Chargers. And Hank and I hugged up and made up in Good. But
I'm going to have a talk with my father. I didn't approve that.
Oh, goodness gracious. But I will say this. Look, not only is we're on Jonathan Taylor watch, but we're also on the 53-man roster cut watch, which I believe is the deadline is Tuesday night.
Yep.
First off, Monday night. Again, if you're new to the channel, everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much. Watching the Miami Dolphins post-game show on the Finstock Sports Network. Smash that like and subscribe button. Let me tell you why you should subscribe. Not only do you have great Dolphins content, we got great sports content. It starts Monday nights with the Beer and Sports Podcast with Josh Wingate and Kimmel. Josh Kimmel, I call it Wingate and Kimmel. Great show. They talk about everything. But NFL, they've had paranormal stuff on there. They have great content. Then we follow up with East 10th Street Boys with Alex and myself. We talk everything Miami sports, Miami life, growing up in Miami. Of course, and then Tuesday night, of course, Monday night, we should talk about the projections for the 53-man roster. That's what I'm going to do on 10th Street Boys. I'm going to give my projections on how the 53-man roster should look. Then Tuesday night, you started off with great Dolphins content with Real Talk Finstock with Steve Malloy and Rob Mosley of DolphinsThirsty.com. They'll be together tomorrow on Rob's YouTube page. But on Tuesday night, we should know who the cuts are. We should know who our 53-man roster is. They're going to react live to that. We'll see, hopefully, if there's any kind of major news and breaking news, they're going to follow up with it. Then after that is Fast Break, which is Alex. We had our new soccer show, which is That's Offsides. That follows Real Talk Finstock. They'll talk about the latest news around the world of professional soccer. Then Fast Break, which is NBA. We got Wednesday. We got Once Upon a Sunday, which is going to be a great show. We got that coming up. I believe that's 8:40 or 7:45 is that show. Then following that, we have a special episode where most of Finstock Sports Network will be there. We'll have our fantasy football live show. So you'll get to see our draft. We'll all be there, most of us. Evan is going to have softball practice, but more like
softball playoff, not practice. Playoff.
Sorry, I forgot. Babe
Playoffs?
Ruth over here. Okay, Babe Ruth.
Playoffs.
Cereal, yeah, we're going to talk about cereal.
I'm just trying to win a game.
I'm just trying to win. But hopefully he'll get the peek in here and there like he did last year. He had a great drive. It was so
you
funny.
guys ripped me when I picked
We were
Tua.
ripping you a new one until throughout that, but then you had a great football season. Thursday, we got the bandwagon. If you want more of Evan Posner or you just want to troll him or piss him off, catch him on Thursday nights. But guys, you catch us every.
What about No Holds Barred? Because then hopefully we'll talk about Bray Wyatt.
Oh, that's right. If you love professional wrestling, Friday night is No Holds Barred. You got Alex Brown, Alfred Matthews, Evan Posner. They're going to talk about everything. Bray Wyatt, Terry Funk passed away. They're going to talk about All In, I'm sure, recap that. And then, of course, you got the FUBAR show with Dave and Brett should be on next week as well. Steve, any final thoughts, my friend?
No, man. I mean, I just can't wait till Tuesday. I'm looking forward to that, to the cuts and see what our 53-man roster looks like, and then onward to Los Angeles Chargers for Game 1.
There you go. Evan, final thoughts?
Jonathan Taylor better be a Dolphin, and Connor Williams better be a guard. Oh, God help us all.
All right. That's about wraps it up. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember always to like, subscribe, and fins up. We'll see you guys Monday night, but obviously Tuesday night for the Real Talk Fins Talk. Later, guys.
Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.